How you doing?
Hot.
Hi, yeah. What's your name?
Nadine.
Where are you from, Nadine?
Australia.
Which part?
Sydney.
Can you tell me a little bit about Sydney?
Sydney's a busy city. It's hustle and bustle. It's always going. You can't stop. There's no downtime as much as traveling. No, it's nice. No, it's beautiful. Like, Sydney is incredible. There's a lot of opportunities, work-wise, people-wise, social outings and stuff, but it's just busy. It's
a city.
It's a city, yeah, it's a city. But where I live is more suburban, so it's an hour out of the city. It's more chilled, slower than the city, but it's still busy. But it's beautiful.
How did you get here?
Traveling. To this point, I was working my business full-time, and I just decided I wasn't ready to take that next step in my career after studying a degree. And so I bought a one-way ticket to South America, bought the bus, and that's what got me here.
And you started in which country?
Chile. Do you want more on that?
Give it to me, please.
Do you want the full story?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was in Australia. I was over being there doing the same thing, and I wasn't ready to commit to my business and settle down. I wasn't tied down to anything. So while I had the opportunity to run free, I got a one-way ticket. I told all my clients that I'd be 6 months. And while I was traveling, I started in Argentina. And then when I went to Chile, I did a work away. And I was building a 4-level tree house and making wood-fired pizza ovens in exchange for accommodation. Then I thought I wanted to buy a car, but a car was too small. And then I wanted to buy a van, but a van was too small to share a bed with someone, just to share food, petrol, and safety reasons. So then one of the workaway guys was like, "Why didn't you buy a bus?" And I was like, okay. And if I was in Australia, I never would have bought a bus because the idea just seems so absurd. But I think because when you're traveling, you have no responsibilities, you have no one to tell you that what you're doing is a silly, crazy idea. So I just thought, if I bought it and I failed, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it's just a failure. You learn from that. So I bought it, and then I didn't really know anything about building a bus. So I posted on backpacking Facebook and found a guy who built the interior, and I paid him in beer. And then other travelers came and went through Workaway. And long story short, we drove from Chile to here, now in Panama, which took 16 months to get here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a long time.
It's long.
How old are you?
29 now, but I bought the bus when I was 27.
This is a long-term adventure.
Yeah, I never planned on it, that's the thing. But it's okay.
Are you enjoying the ride?
I love it. Yeah.
Can you explain to me the project that you created called Clean the Caribbean?
Yes, so Clean the Caribbean was started because it's not possible to drive from Colombia to Panama. So I was at that point of possibly selling the bus because I couldn't drive it, and the cost of shipping it, because it was the only way to go, was just to ship this on a big cargo ship, and it was going to cost $2,700 US, which is close to 4,000 Australian dollars. And that was not within my traveling budget, nor was buying this bus. Like, this took up half my traveling budget, but it was okay. But I was at that point of selling the bus, and for me that was really scary. So we came up with a campaign where we picked up bags of rubbish from the Caribbean, because we'd go surfing and you were like fighting plastic, and it was just horrible. It was just like, you walk along the coastline, there was plastic bottles just everywhere, plastic bottles, cans, wrappers, and it was just horrible. So we thought, why not try and do something for the community based around positive rubbish removal, but also at the same time there was that incentive for us with the campaign, with the potential to possibly make money in order to ship the bus, so we weren't so I wouldn't have to sell it. So we did a video, a boy made, and then we put it online, and family and friends donated money into that. And from that, with the help of everyone else, we were able to ship the bus, but at the same time we were picking up rubbish in tiny towns and along the way. And so we promoted positive rubbish disposal, and we would be picking up rubbish, and other travelers and also like kids in the town would see us picking up rubbish, and they would ask what we were doing, and they would help us. And so it was good in that way that we were able to give back to the community and give back a part of something that we will offer on our way. Otherwise we were just traveling.
Was that Barranquilla area?
Barranquilla?
Yeah.
No, it was from Colombia, the northern, Palomino.
It's called Palomino.
Palomino is where we picked up a lot of rubbish. We stayed in a hostel where we were working, and we were screening projectors on the side of the bus.
Oh.
So we were doing projectors, and at the same time we were picking up rubbish, but we would only have to walk probably 50 meters and we could pick up 3 full bags of rubbish.
Oh, wow.
It was so bad. And if I think about if that's possible in Australia, it's just not possible. But we have rubbish disposable knowledge, and we have bins available, whereas they don't have the resources. So
The kind of...
the knowledge.
Yeah, it's kind of just normal to throw trash aside in
Yeah.
certain parts of the world.
It's really sad, actually.
Can you tell me a little bit about the bus, its origin, how it drives, what it's like to live in?
Yeah, they're the good questions. So it's from Chile. I just found it on like a used cars dealership like page. It was the first bus that I saw, but I went with 2 mechanics to see if the engine was okay, all of that. It had a nice spray paint, so a new coat, which probably made it seem much more appealing. But the mechanic said it was okay, it needed new tyres, new handbrake. But I didn't know how to drive a bus, so I couldn't test it. So I bought it because the mechanics were like, yeah, it's okay. You need a bit of work here and there. I was like, yeah, that's okay. So I bought it, but I didn't even know how to drive manual. So we got the driver to drive it back to the house. And then I parked it there for 3.5 months while this Yuri, a guy from Finland, he built it all. He mechanically fixed it. But we didn't know the state of it. On our first trip, we realized kind of the extent of it. It doesn't drive straight. If you drive straight, the steering wheel's got a lot of play to it. It's loud. It's very loud. It shakes a lot. It's very rusty. It's not perfect, but it goes. But since I bought it, it breaks down all the time. But that's kind of, that's the love-hate relationship, is it's difficult. But I like it because one of the reasons I appreciate it so much is you learn. You learn about things that you didn't know, about the bus, mechanics, about yourself. We're traveling with other people. The bus is hard, but it's definitely worth it. But life isn't perfect either. I feel like one of the reasons why I like the bus is I feel like in Sydney, life was given to me on a silver platter. It was like, you have a good family, you go to school, you go to college, you have a job. If you want anything, you have savings, you can do it. It wasn't that difficult as such. So bus life kind of throws you in the deep end, where it gives you all those struggles and challenges that you've never experienced before. And that, I think, is probably the biggest thing that I'll remember out of all of this, is the growth from it and experience. But it drives, it's good, it's fun. Like, you'll be driving, you'll have sometimes 6 people, there'll be people like sleeping, cooking, they've done yoga. When we're driving really slow, like uphill, sometimes we've gone up hills 12 kilometers an hour. You can open the door, boys will piss out the door. You could even go for a run out the side. it's fun. It's definitely fun. And the one thing that you have is time. So even if you're going up a hill really slow and it overheats, 2 times you stop and you cook food and you just wait because you have time. But
It's a whole lifestyle.
it's a lifestyle, yeah. You've got to be flexible and patient. And this thing has definitely pushed my patience a lot. Like owning an old boss in a foreign country is a full-time job. There's always maintenance. There's always talking your way out of bribes with policemen, and they see this big bus as like a dollar sign. So we've been, show passports through the window. If they come on, we film them. They're like, oh, you don't have a seatbelt, you pay money. I was like, no. So you learn a lot about like safety, and with the bus it's safety in numbers, but you're never really safe.
It's like you're totally leaving your comfort zone once you enter the bus, and it's all about growing and figuring out challenges.
Yeah.
That sounds like quite an adventure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
You kind of just answered this next question, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it again. Maybe you have a different take on it. Mm-hmm. What's the most valuable thing that you have gained by embarking on this journey?
The other thing, other than like personal growth and experiences and memories to add, and one thing I want to do is like the boss is doing something that when I'm ready to, either I settle down or I'm like 50, I'll be like, I did something with my life that I feel satisfied with, maybe. But everything we do it's so much fun. Like parking here in front of the beach is so nice. Falling asleep to sound of the ocean. Doing all like arts and crafts around the bus is fun. Like, have you seen all the handheld tools that we made? Like all our cooking utensils are handmade. Rolling pin, wooden spoons, spatulas.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And stuff like that. You have a bit of wood and then you hack at it all day. And it's so much fun. And things like that where you go back to the basis and roots of like man, and you're able to like catch a fish. And maybe I didn't really catch a fish, but you go back from having a fire to building your own things. If something breaks, you figure out how to fix it, whereas in Australia I was like, that's broken, I'm just going to buy a new thing. So it's things like that is where you learn more about going back to the basis of roots and stuff. And also where you travel to is incredible, and also like the locals and definitely the people that you meet on the road is probably the most memorable thing, and the experiences that you share with other people.
New Horizons.
New Horizons. Never heard that one.
What do you think about Panama? What have your experiences here been like since you have arrived?
Panama it's definitely a destination where no one I've ever heard has kind of visited. People, you do the San Blas Islands, but that's it. It's kind of a missed destination, but it's been surprisingly incredible. It's really beautiful, the greenery, especially like the San Blas Islands. They're beautiful, but again, they have a lot of plastic that washes up, which is quite sad from the Caribbean. But Panama's been good to me in the bus. I stored the bus here for 8 months, so I'm grateful. And this is my second time back in for now. And I'm going to find it very hard to leave again.
You enjoy Playa now?
I love it. Yeah.
Do you miss Oz?
I miss parts of Australia and things about Australia. But to me, the bus is home. Australia will always be home. It's got my friends and my family, so I definitely miss them. But this is the longest I've lived outside of home in one thing. The bus to me is home. Like, I feel myself in it. I feel comfortable. I like pottering around in it. I like hosting people. I love cooking dinner for people when people come in here and they see it all. And I don't know, this feels like home, but Australia will definitely be where I end up. And Australia will always be there, that's the thing. But the opportunity to travel on a bus and live somewhere else isn't going to be there.
What's the best and worst thing that you have experienced in Latin America as a whole?
Ooh. That's a tough question.
And like I said, there's no right answer or wrong answer. It's just kind of like your take.
The worst would maybe be, I think, border crossings. Paperwork. Dealing with paperwork, not knowing full Spanish, but that's my fault. That's my fault for being lazy. Paperwork is a nightmare here. Everything's just a little bit backwards from a first world country. But no, it's traffic. Traffic is actually really bad. Like, I remember driving through Lima and it was like Thursday night, 10:30 to 1:30 a.m., bumper to bumper. But like my friend told me, he's like, if anyone runs into like a big bus, like that's their problem. But the roads are actually really bad. Going down a wrong road is horrendous. Like, I've gone down one-way streets. I've gone down roads where my mirrors have been hitting signposts. I've gone through a shortcut which has taken us through the jungle, which was meant to be 12 kilometers, took us 2 days. We were going up like rocky hills on gear 1. We went down the bottom, we got bogged. We've been bogged 3 times, but every time we've got out of it, it's a learning curve and it's actually really incredible. It's fun.
I could imagine trying to do a U-turn on a one-way road.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had some like situations.
The worst one was we were trying to do a U-turn on a highway and we just come from the mechanics and it was our 4th breakdown in 4 days, and it was Leaf's birthday and it was the worst situation ever. We tried to turn around and I think it was this one part to the axle just like snapped off, broke down, and we were like T-boned in the middle of the highway, blocking traffic. Luckily we were able to reverse back like 1 meter so that trucks could come past, but it wasn't a busy highway. But that was maybe one of the worst situations. So we're like T-boned. There was a tow truck, but luckily Barney was able to figure it out, get under there, and from old pieces we just put it back together. And
wow.
That was bad. But the roads actually would probably be the worst experience. But you can't expect anything else. Like, who would think to travel in a freaking 10-meter long vehicle and think they can take this from Chile to Canada? Like, the terrains that we've put this thing through, it makes sense why it always breaks down.
Yeah. I'm sure it picks up potholes, like, pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of rocking to be had in something this long.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. The suspension's probably bad. But the best part about Latin America is probably the experiences that you have. The cultures, the different sceneries, the food. And I think what's also priceless is getting invited into people's homes that live in the country. Those moments where you interact with the locals is, I think, better than going out partying or being with the gringos. Those experiences where people let you into their lives and show you how they do things, how they cook, their culture, their homes, like how they make cacao, chocolate, or, you know, it's those things that you'll remember forever, because that's what's specific to Latin America that you can't get anywhere else in the world.
What comes to mind when I say the word time?
Endless. Currently. The only concept of time is that you have to be out of the country in 9 days. Or if you said time to me, I'd say, okay, I have 17 more days where I need to go to the border and ask for 30 more days for the bus. So time right now is endless, maybe, but it's precious.
Do you feel like it transpires in a different speed in Latin America versus Australia?
Yeah, definitely.
And which way?
In Australia, you have responsibility. like you have a job, you have a deadline, you have times. My work was I have my own business, so I have clients. I would always be on the phone messaging up people, whether it be clients, social outings, and it's go, go, go. Whereas here, it's laid back. The only responsibility is, currently I'm renovating the bus. So I'd that's time, and it's painting the bus. But because of weather, painting's taken like 10 days.
Yeah. I mean, the bus is a job. I mean, it's not your punch in 9 to 5 job, but it's still a job. And I know what you mean, like, if one major thing gets done a day here, it was a busy day. Whereas in Australia, 10 things minimum that are important get done.
Yeah.
And there's still 10 more that should have.
Yeah.
Similar to the States.
It's exactly the same. Do you want the snake? Tequila! Oh, I love you so much. No. Ooh. Oh. My hands are so dirty right now, though.
I want to get, like, the raw. You alright? You need a wash or anything? You good?
No, it's just like I
can't see that.
Yeah, I just don't want to be too grubby, because you know that film though, my hair was a mess and I had a piercing. My mum's like, you look like a proper hippie. Yeah. No, I don't want to look like a proper hippie.
No, you look cool. You got your.
Like I don't want I care also about the presentation. So like.
Yeah, me too. Of course.
If there's shit around, I just want to tidy it just a little bit.
I'm zoned into your cool little corner.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's all.
Like this water damage, I care.
I don't see that.
Yeah. See, I care.
On the corner of your.
Okay. Cool. Liver. Yeah. So, there's one thing to live on a bus, but one thing to be grubby. Isn't it Tequila?
Can you tell me about your new pet?
This is Tequila. Tequila is a boa serpent. I always wanted a bus pet. In David, I actually had a pet iguana, but that escaped twice. So, honestly, I always wanted a snake. I've had 2 snakes in Australia, and I love how calm they are and how they're very easygoing. And Tequila came into my life at the perfect time, and he's a chiller. Last night he escaped though from the hours of 1 to 5, so I definitely need to make a cage where he's more secure, because snakes are not the funnest things to find, but it's always interesting to see where they end up.
You don't want to wake up with her on your head or something? Not that you would...
Not that I would, but honestly it would be a little bit more of a relief if I woke up and I knew straight away where it was. Because this bus is like it's not secure, it could slip out. And if it does, I understand, like it's a wild animal, but I think we're gonna be friends for a long time. I feel like I have a special bond instantly with her. And she's cool.
You're currently looking for a new crew, so that's your first mate?
Yes, this will be my first mate, and my mate that will hopefully be here for a long time and not wriggle away. Well, since I've come back to the bus, like this is kind of part 2. The first part I had 20 travellers come and go in the space of 16 months. This time round, like part 2, so far I've had 2 boys join me, and I've got another one coming today, but from then on I will be looking for crew. People that are open to bus life they might stay for a week, 2 weeks. People say that, and they stay for like 6 months. You kind of get roped into bus life. And people often do that. Or we've convinced a couple of people to change their flights. It's just fun.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
It's fun. Every day is different. You can't expect anything. And I think that is what makes it exciting, and it's learning about the basics and learning about yourself and how to give up a lot of the comforts of a shower and a bathroom. In saying that, I'm clean. We are clean. Hygiene is important. We have hand sanitizer as well.
No, I get you 100%.
Yeah, I think it's good to get away from everything and just get back to the basics. Like
Bill Ferrell.
Yeah, well, No, not feral. There's a limit between feral and not feral. But like making everything by scratch. Like if you want to make, we can get a coconut, we can open it, we make coconut milk.
Totally.
And that's really nice. And grind your own coffee beans and make a coffee, and like your daily kind of morning routine is like a swim, coffee, chill, music. Now we'll be hanging with Tequila, so it'll be laid back and nice, and this is definitely the best bus member so far.
What do you think would make the world a better place?
Ooh, wow. If everyone took some time for themselves and they just made themselves happy, because I feel like it's like a ripple effect. If you're at peace with yourself, even if it's for 5 minutes of the day, then that will have a ripple effect on your life and everyone around you. And just be kind to yourself and do what makes you happy, whether it be have a bath, go for a walk, call someone. Just enjoy life, because I feel like, and I definitely was doing that. Like in Australia, you get caught up in feeling like whether you need to consume things or consume people or be places or need to have a social status, whether it's, I need a house, or I need the latest clothes and items and materialistic things. I think everyone should step away from that and realize that we do consume too much, and we spend too much money on time on things that maybe we should be spending more time on ourselves. Because in the long run, if you're happy and you're content, then you've got less stress, disease, and your ripple effect isn't causing, I don't know, not problems, but unhappiness, maybe. Everyone should be happy. It's too fun not to be. And everyone should smile more. Maybe, so that everyone does smile. I don't know. I'm not a guru. I'm not Gandhi. I just live in a bus and it's fun. So the personalised toothbrush holder is good because everyone that comes on the bus, we have a toothbrush party. And you kind of feel like you're part of the family as well. So we write your name every night. We have a toothbrush party. It's probably the most we party is every day. And then, okay, the handheld. So these are all handmade. So they might be. So all of these are handmade, which makes cooking a little bit more special as such. They were carved from, God, I don't know what type of wood, pine wood, rolling pin. It's a deep fryer because we like to fry stuff. These are my 2 spoons. This one's not a spoon, but I copped a lot for this. It's a spatula, but it's the most used tool in the bus. Is that? What else is funky? Oh, this is a handmade mortar and pestle that we crush stuff with when we do. There's a chopping board. This is kind of special as well. This is made from Chile, the house where we went. So it's big.
That's your cutting board?
That's our cutting board, yeah. That's the big one. And then we also have a little one here. These cups were handmade by my cousin. She brought them over. And she's the same girl that did this fish. And put her little touch to it. And then the other things that I like on the bus are the little touches, like I didn't want a mirror, so I mosaicked a mirror with inspiration from my nan. It's needs to be cleaned at the moment, but you can get the gist. All the leather is from the bus previously, so the seats. So we tried to use, the basis was new materials, but a lot of it's recycled materials where possible. So all of the exterior of this is recycled pallets and crates. And then those boxes are recycled fruit and vegetable boxes. Oh my god, the bus is filthy though! No. So all of this driftwood is just driftwood that we find, and all of these are skulls and bones. I think that's the spine of a seal.
You just found that on the beach?
Yeah. Yeah. And just chucked a bit of bleach on them. One of the things that I really like is just like arts and crafts, like driftwood, and I call myself a professional masker. So if there's something that I don't like, I try and cover it to make it look good.
The masker.
The masker.
I like that.
I'm bad at fixing things, but I can professionally
Mask them.
mask them.